So if you're in Houston, Texas, or if you're in South Texas, you probably are going through some very horrific things right now. We basically got winter's kid gloves, according to everybody I know from up north. And, well, we couldn't handle it. So a lot of you are in situations where you have bust pipes, you have windshields that have cracked, you have things that have happened to your house because of the cold weather or because of the loss of electricity. And who do you talk to about how to move forward? I talked to my insurance agent, and he came to my house. Welcome, homeowners, future homeowners, investors, and future investors. And if you're not in one of those groups, it's okay, but we need to talk. My name is Brian Travis. I am your Houston, Texas real estate agent, and this is Getting Homes. So let's get right into it. I want to introduce a very special guest, and sitting right next to me is Ronnie Vitulli with Goosehead Insurance, my insurance agent. How's it going, man?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for coming by.
Hey, I appreciate the opportunity to help out.
Hey, all right. So, with no further ado, people going through some serious things right now.
Yeah.
All right, and have some serious questions. So I want to make sure that we don't waste our time and we just get right into it. What is a insurance agent's role? What do they do?
So we have multiple roles. We want to figure out. Well, first, when we actually write you a policy, we try to, if you have a good agent, that is, he's going to make sure that you have the proper coverages, water coverages. So there's 4 water coverages here that you can usually do on a Texas home policy. But another thing is they're going to explain to your policy so you know what you're covered. And then when something happens, they'll service the policy. So you call me whenever, let's say, your pipes burst, like obviously a lot of Houstonians have had. You give me a call. I walk you through the process, and I try to make sure that you stop the damage, and I give you advice. And the cool thing about with Goosehead is, let's say, obviously I went through the same thing. It's kind of hard to swim. I have many customers. We have a service agents that are licensed just like me that are in Nevada and Dallas. So if something's happening here in Texas, you don't have to worry about it. They're going to be able to cover you still, even in, they'll be able to help you out in Nevada. And they're licensed in multiple different states, not just Texas and Georgia like me. So.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So, obviously, a lot of people, like I said earlier in the video, have busted pipes now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have cracked windshields, things that are going to basically show up. I know you've been a busy man in the last week or so.
Oh, yeah. Definitely busy. Definitely getting the calls. Actually, in one day, I submitted 85 claims.
Oh, my gosh.
And most of those right here in Houston. Now, if you're having these problems, pipes freezing, cracked windshield, first thing you want to do is try to mitigate the damage. You want to stop it from getting worse. That is your role as a policy, and if you actually look into policy, it'll tell you this. So as a homeowner, though, you want to start, I know it's already happened, but for next time, try to make sure you insulate your pipes. That is your job. And it's going to tell you that in your policy to try to make sure you prevent damage from happening. How do you do that? Insulating your pipes, obviously. But when it's freezing and they don't shut the water off, drip your hot and cold water, not just cold.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So hot water actually freezes faster than cold water. I don't know the science behind it. I'm just telling you what a plumber told me.
Yeah, I don't understand that either, but okay.
Yeah, so one of my best customers, she is also a real estate agent, and her house would have no damage if her pipe wouldn't have separated from her hot water heater. And the reason why it separated is because she wasn't dripping her hot water. And it cost,
expanded.
Yeah, it's going to cost well over $100,000 probably to fix her house.
Jeez.
It was over 70 gallons of water pouring down the kitchen, the master bedroom, and the master bathroom, which is generally the most expensive part of a house.
Basically, it's a flood from your roof.
Yeah, and it went from the second floor all the way down to the first. So if something like this, let's say your pipes do freeze. Let's say you did all this, but your pipes still freeze, you still have issues. First thing you got to do is turn off the water. Next thing you want to do, if you can't get a hold of your agent, with us, you'd call me, you'd call my service team. The next thing you want to do is try and call your carrier and tell them, hey, my pipe has bursted from the freeze, and they will start getting the claim filed. They'll ask you questions like, what happened? Do you know where it's coming from? Have you stopped the water? They're going to try to give you advice to make sure that you stop the damage. For your car, never pour hot water on your windshield. That will most likely shatter your windshield, crack it. It will definitely cause damage. The best thing to do is actually turn your car from the inside. Don't put it on high heat. Put it on around, like in my car, it tells me actual degrees. Put it on 80. Don't put it on high because it could actually warm it up too fast and cause cracking as well. Scraping off the ice is always a good idea. They sell a lot of different stuff online that'll help you out. But if you do have it, for your auto insurance works a little bit different than home. With your auto insurance, of course, you have a deductible. But some companies offer $0 glass. If it has $0 glass, you're going to be filing a claim and it won't cost you a penny. You get a brand new windshield. If it's going to be more than $500 to $1,000, that's when most deductibles are $500 to $1,000 here in Texas. That's when you can file a claim and you'll get money for it. Now, if you're not going to meet that deductible, don't file the claim because it will still show up as a claim and it will impact your future rates. Same thing for your home.
Okay. So, well, we'll get into that a little bit later, but I want to ask you, so somebody is now in that situation, they are going to file that claim. Mm-hmm. What do they need to do to prevent that claim from being denied outright?
So a claim being denied can definitely happen. So two things. One, let's say you have to make sure you actually have coverage for it. That's when a claim can get denied very, very quickly. You don't have coverage for something. And your agent should be the one telling you this. If you don't know your policy, you can always give me a call and I'll tell you my information at the end of the video. And I can review your policy with you and tell you what you actually are covered for. So one, try to stop the damage. As I said, that's going to be the biggest thing for anything. They want you to stop the damage. Two, report it as soon as possible. Because if you don't report that claim for a week or two, they can deny it for that. So reporting a claim is huge. Either your agent or you can report a claim. You don't have to go through your agent, but usually it's better just because your agent can actually advise you on the situation and what you should do and what you should say. Those are the two biggest things. With getting a claim denied, you got to figure out why it's denied. Sometimes it's for you're not covered. Sometimes because you reported too late. Sometimes because you didn't pay your policy. If you're escrow, make sure your escrow pays your policy on time. Right. Always be up to date on that. And if you pay for it on time. Because let's say you forget to pay it and it's not canceled yet, but you haven't paid for it, you're not covered. You still have homeowners, but you're not covered until you pay for it.
Okay. I wonder if you had a late payment, would it retroact? Would they allow you if you were...
If it's a claim or it's already let's say damage has already happened, and no,
they would not. Oh,
no, you are going to pay for that. Yeah, you're going to pay for that out of pocket.
All right, and so and just out of curiosity, I know this is kind of getting into minutia, but kind of talk about the difference, because right now we're dealing with pipes right now a lot.
Oh yeah.
All right, so there's some differences in coverages that you can have with your pipes in your home, with your plumbing in your home.
Yep.
And some of them are optional. So kind of talk about that a little bit.
So yeah, there are going to be a few major ones that you can always cover. So the one that's covered in all Texas homeowner policies is going to be sudden and accidental. That's a very big one. That usually covers pipe bursting without you knowing it. It's also going to cover most likely freezing pipes because that's going to happen very quickly. Now, there's 3 water coverages that you can get that are optional. So you have it's going to be like a water backup. So this is like, let's say that your sewage pipe would have got frozen. And this has nothing to do with inside your house, but the sewage starts backing up through your drains, your bathtub, literally sewage water coming into your house. You can, on most homeowner policies, you can get this as an endorsement. Endorsement is going to be added coverage that's not included or something that you want to take away from your policy.
Okay.
Next one is going to be slow leaks. This could also happen. So not all pipes just burst. With freezing, sometimes they just drip after, and you'll never know. Oh, well, I don't see any water spots. Well, if it happens between a wall, you'll never know.
Yeah.
So if this happens and it's been 14 days, it's called constant seepage. So this is something else that you can get added onto your policy. This will cover slow leaks, things that you never know about. And usually they actually cause a lot of damage because they happen for so long and they soak. So this is something that you really want to get added on. And of course, flood insurance. A lot of people have a misconception of flood. It's not just natural disasters for water pouring into your house because it's hurricanes here in Texas. It could also cover because your neighbor doesn't know how to call 411 and figure out where the water main is and hits it and floods your house, his house, and half the neighborhood. Flood is an external water coming into your house that floods 2 or more properties or 2 or more acres. So if you live on a big country plot and it floods 3 acres of land, you're covered for that. But these are the water coverages I suggest every single person to have. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm trying to save as much money as possible. Most of these coverages don't cost a lot of money for your yearly expense. And if you're escrowing, you'll probably not even notice a difference in your monthly payments to your mortgage company.
All right. Cool, man. Hey, Ronnie, am I covered?
You are actually covered for every single thing that can happen.
Okay.
I made sure of that.
All right. So how much insurance should a homeowner and a car owner be carrying?
So on the home, obviously it's going to be dealing more off of replacement costs. So what it costs to actually replace your house. So if you live anywhere in the Houston area, if I take a house that's in Waller and put it in downtown Houston, obviously there's going to be a very big different price on market value, but not that big of a difference on actually rebuilding the home. So when you're rebuilding your home, you're not buying land, but you're going to have to rebuild, let's say a complete destroyed. So your foundation all the way up to your roof. It depends on what the carrier says it would cost to replace it. That's going to be a big thing. The things that are kind of what you can change that will actually help you out in the long run is your liability limits. So most people put 300,000. Some people even put 100,000. You want to make sure you put at least 500,000 and up to $5,000 on medical payments. This will save you money in the long run. Just a little quick tip there on that. On your auto insurance, so there's something called state minimums. Never have them. They completely destroy your rates, and it makes it where you can't get lower prices as easy. So state minimums in the state of Texas is 30,000, 65,000, and 25. What that actually means is bodily injury. Bodily injury they'll pay per accident, and property damage they'll pay per accident. The minimum we'll write at Goosehead, we won't write state minimums, is 50, 100, 50. The reason why is because we don't want to put people in a bad spot, and we believe that's underinsuring somebody. So uninsured insurance, you should definitely get. Uninsured is going to cover if someone hits you and they don't have insurance. So let's say I hit Brian, I didn't have insurance, and his car's worth $40,000. Well, if I don't have insurance, I probably don't have a lot of money for Brian to take from me. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to pay for that out of pocket. Or if you have an uninsured motorist, you can get your insurance company to pay for it. So whenever you call, let's say you call your insurance agent, ask for higher liability limits. This is what the rating factors go off of. So this is a major rating factor, as well as previous claims, previous accidents, even if they're not your fault, and even comprehensive, there's going to be like an act of God. Let's say a tree fell on your car. Your rates will go up for that because they had to pay some money. But they're not as impactful as at-fault accidents and your liability limits.
Okay. So just a couple more things. And so this is the thing that you hear about every time there's a big disaster, especially here in Texas, is, and a lot of people maybe even don't even know about this, but you're able to hire a claim adjuster that does not work for your insurance company.
Yep.
All right. So tell me what impact that has on the process of a claim.
So I would wait. It's going to make the process take longer to hire somebody else. Now, with me, I'll tell you this: I don't work for just one insurance carrier. I work for like 40. So even with me telling you this, I want to make sure that you still let the insurance company do their job, what you pay them to do. Now, let's say you get 3 quotes. Let's say the adjuster says, "Oh, this is going to cost $4,000 to fix," but you get 4 quotes that all come back at $6,000. That's a big difference. Once you talk to your adjuster and they see that you have all this, let them first figure out if they'll actually pay it. And then if they're not going to, that's when you can start considering hiring an outside adjuster. Now, the one thing that you have to remember, though, is they're going to take a part of that money that you get. They're going to take a commission off of damage to your house or auto. So that's where you got to look at, is it going to be actually worth it?
Yeah.
Because if they're going to give you, let's say the claim adjuster is going to give you $4,500 or $4,000, and they can get you, $4,800, and they take 10%. Is it really worth it? Was it worth the extra time or the extra stress and headache? No. But if that's something also where you can talk to your agent, and he can also advise you on going on, and he can also call the adjuster and talk to them and say, look, they've gotten multiple quotes, and this is where having a great insurance agent, or even just a good one, will help you out with making sure that you are going to get the money you deserve.
Yeah, I mean, in that scenario, you actually lost money.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing. So a good, if you are doing that, a good private claims adjuster is going to base their income, or I should say their commission, off of what they are able to achieve over and beyond what you already have been offered. Okay, and so if they are saying, all right, it's $6,000, and they're saying, all right, well, we get 10% of the $6,000, or I think you said $4,500, so $4,500. So we get 10% of that. Well, no, okay. If you can get above and beyond the 10%, then you can get 10% of that amount. And so definitely check on it. It's definitely going to make the process take longer. If you're in a situation where your pipes are burst, maybe not the best idea. So, and I think it varies from scenario to scenario. So something worth exploring, but, be cautious.
Yeah, if it's a small claim, I highly don't suggest doing that. But if it's let's say your house burnt down. So something like this happened in my neighborhood 3 times, actually, with 3 different as how I know.
What the heck is going on in your neighborhood, man?
I don't know. But I actually have not insured one of them, so I can't tell you the process. But, if your house burns down and they say, hey, we're going to give you, $200,000, and then you get an estimate to rebuild it, it's like $300,000, you're like, hey, but that's a big difference, $100,000. That's when you start getting outside help and start getting people involved to help you out. Because the last thing you want to do is have to end up paying $100,000 to get your house rebuilt.
All right. We'll do a movie night at my house.
Yeah.
Okay. People getting lit on fire over at your neighborhood.
It happens at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, I smell smoke and then I go outside and see it.
All right. And last thing. Okay. This is a fun one. Floating around the internet, Instagram, Twitter. I've seen it on Facebook many times. You should definitely file a food spoilage claim to your insurance agency. Ronnie, tell me about that and what the impact is.
So you can definitely do it. You're covered for it. On most policies, you'll have to check your certain policy, make sure you're covered for it. I would only do it if it's absolutely necessary. If you lost thousands of dollars of food, claim it. If you didn't lose anything and you're just trying to get free money, don't do it, because they're going to get their money back. Remember, any claim that you file goes against your rating factors, which increases your rates. I can't tell you how much it will, because each company is a little bit different, but increasing your rates is never a good thing. Those claims follow you from house to house to house, and for at least probably the next 5 years. Some people only go back 3, some people go back 8. They will get their money back, and probably a lot more.
One way or the other.
Yeah.
So if you lost, your leftover Frenchie's chicken, don't do it. It's not worth it. You want to have some integrity with the claims you file. It's not about trying to get over or get something in. It's about handling crisis. and you should use it only if it is a crisis. So.
Correct. And, so when I'm talking about different policies, the reason I can't tell you is because every policy is different. And every single carrier is different. There's two types of policies. You have for a normal HO3, you have your named peril and your open peril. So Brian has an open peril and probably doesn't know that. But it's going to cover more things. So if you have an open peril policy, it covers everything except for what's excluded. And once again, different exclusions for different carriers. Named peril policies only cover what is named. In other words, the burden of proof is on you. An open peril policy, the burden of proof is on the carrier. They have to prove that you are not covered. And to me, that's always a way better option than trying to get you to prove the insurance company to pay you a lot of money. So whenever you're looking at your policies, try to figure out if they're named or open peril. Some say all peril. But if you ever need anything, once again, we'll give my information at the end. And you can always give me a call, and I can show you where to find all this information.
Well, I'm going to put it in the description, but yeah, go ahead. We are at the end, by the way.
Okay.
So go ahead and give your information.
So my name is Ronnie Vitulli. I work for Goosehead Insurance. I am in Houston. I'm licensed to write insurance anywhere in Texas, and I will soon be getting my Georgia license approval. It just takes a lot longer there. My phone number, and this is literally my cell phone, so you can text me and you can call me, which might be a dangerous thing to put out there on the internet, but it's 713-966-6632.
I just put that up there. You saw that?
Yeah, I don't know how you do this, but
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. All right, thank you guys. We've kind of gone long, but I wanted to make sure we got this video out as soon as possible because I know a lot of people are in dire need and needed some information and didn't have anyone to turn to. So if you do have questions, absolutely you can reach out to me as well. I can either direct you to the right source or if I don't know the answer to myself. And so with that said, thank you again for tuning in. My name is Brian Travis. I'm your Houston, Texas real estate agent. This is Getting Homes. I get homes, and I think you will too. Thank you. Bye. Let's do it.